The Veterans Honor Flight of North Dakota and Minnesota transport Americans veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit memorials dedicated to honor the service and sacrifice of themselves and fellow veterans. More than 1,200 heroes from North Dakota and Minnesota have been escorted to Washington, D.C. since 2007. This is the 2022 Veterans Honor Flight official film by KFGO and Madison Quinn.
It's April 30th, it's Honor Flight Day, and we're very excited. We've got veterans coming through with escorts, and you can feel the excitement in the air.
I saw you shared a kiss with
my husband.
Your husband. What's it feel like sending him on this trip?
He's excited.
Yeah.
They're going to have fun.
McHenry is a historical American fort in Baltimore, Maryland. It's best known for its role in the War of 1812 when it successfully defended Baltimore Harbor from an attack by the British Navy from Chesapeake Bay. Inspired Francis Scott Key to write the poem Defense of Fort McHenry. It was later set to the tune To Anchorien in Heaven and became known as the Star-Spangled Banner, the national anthem of the United States. The United States Marine Corps War Memorial, or Iwo Jima Memorial, is a memorial dedicated in 1954 to all Marines who have given their lives in defense of the United States since 1775. The War Memorial was inspired by the iconic 1945 photograph of 6 Marines raising a U.S. flag atop Mount Subachi during the Battle of Iwo Jima in World War II.
I was in 61 to 63.
I was in 57 and 58.
And I was in 59 to 61.
Did you guys all serve in the same?
Were you in the Army?
All in the Army.
All in the Army.
Okay.
So what do you think of Navy guys?
We got a brother that was in the Navy.
Oh, do you like them?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we still like him. But from his experience, we knew damn well we didn't want to go in the Navy. He was the older brother. So.
Of course, I think, didn't he have a choice, either go to the reform school or go to the Navy?
So,
well,
I hope that video don't be
no, see, this is Gordon, the older brother. Now he's in Kansas, so he'll never hear this probably. I hope he doesn't listen to KFGO.
Oh, we'll send it to him.
But anyway, we had an uncle that lived on the farm, and he became was going to be a freshman in high school, and Gordon was in 8th grade. And they said, well, there's not room in town, so maybe Alan should come and stay with us. Well, there's 8 of us kids in the family, so there really wasn't a lot of room. So they sent Gordon out to the farm to live on the farm when he was in 8th grade, and Alan came to town and stayed. Well, the story we heard 20 years later was Gordon had to go out to the farm because they wanted to get him out of the school because he was causing them much trouble in town.
Well, I remember growing up there when he was 4 or 5 years older than me. They called him Smokey Stoa.
Oh yeah.
Why'd they call him that?
Well, his last name is Stoa. He's half-brother, actually. Yeah. And he was in high school smoking all the time between walking home with a cigarette in his hand.
And the superintendent seen him, took Mr. Stowe is not playing basketball.
Oh, the story was that on the assembly we had a little mad Russian, Knelson was his name, little bitty guy. He was the superintendent. And Gordon's smoking on the way to school. And this car goes by and there's a guy driving it, but you can't hardly see him because he's so damn little. And Gordon said, you know, I think that's the superintendent. Well, he put the cigarette out and went to school. When the school assembly started, the old little mad Russian come walking up to the assembly. He couldn't hardly see over the podium, but he's standing up there and he said, I want your attention. He said, I want everybody to know that Smokey Stoa will not be playing football any this year.
Oh, no.
The guy got in that much trouble for one cigarette.
Yeah.
Of course, he probably knew he had more
Well,
blood.
it probably wasn't the first time they caught him.
So what do you guys think about this trip so far?
Oh,
How's it been for you guys?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
When you decided to go, did all of you decide together? I mean, was it like,
Yes
how
and
often
no.
can you get 2 brothers to go?
Yes and no. These 2 guys got noticed first, and they called me. And they talked to Dave Brunsfeld.
Yeah, he's from our town.
And so he told me to call Dave, so I did, and then I got on too.
Okay.
Because he's from Minnesota. He's from Park Rapids, see.
Oh, okay.
So we're originally born and raised in Hatton, but he was living in Park Rapids. But being as Minnesota and North Dakota together, we said, well, send in your information, and they said, sure.
Yeah.
Worked out perfect.
Worked out
And
perfect.
they got a brother over in Wisconsin, and I thought maybe he could get one too, but just Minnesota, North Dakota.
Yeah, it was too.
The service.
So, was it just expected of you boys when you were young to go in the military?
More or less.
Yeah, I think so.
Mother was always proud of it. There's 6 boys and 5 of us were in the military. And the one would have gone too, but his eyes were so bad he couldn't qualify, the youngest one.
No, 5 out of 6, you know.
And she was always proud
And
of
two brother-in-laws were in the military.
And her brother was in the military.
Yeah.
And my dad's sister was in World War II on the USS Hope as a nurse. So we had a bunch of them.
Yeah, I bet. So, okay, you said your mother, you know, was so proud of that. Could you imagine have that many boys though you got to worry about? I mean, you're in harm's way. I mean, she must have had some long nights.
We're lucky.
Well, yes
we're lucky
and no,
we didn't
but
have
she
any
was
wars,
very.
you know.
She was also very. What's the word? Not political.
Patriotic?
Patriotic.
Okay.
You know, she believed in that giving.
Yeah. You come home after the first 8 weeks basic, you had to wear that uniform to church.
Was that right?
Yeah.
She always used to say when everybody in the house, everybody said, how could you get that many people in living in that little house? And she said, where there's love, there's room.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a little story about my mother when she's just about ready to pass away. You know, she's 102. So the chaplain came in to see her, and we had a board there. His mother couldn't hear what we were saying. We'd write on the note, you know, and then we turned around and show her, see. Well, Pastor, whatever, the chaplain didn't know what she was saying, so he wrote God on there. And she turned it around. He turned around and she said, "What do you want to know about it?" About him.
Oh, God. What a life you guys have lived. Do you still?
It was a symbol of the end of the war. It was so close to the mainland of Japan. And of course they were set up in Japan to fight to the death of every person there. So it was quite something. My wife and I took 40 veterans to the Fiji Islands that fought at Guadalcanal. We set it up with the 164th Infantry Division, and what an experience that was. How the Fijians were so capable of seeing the Japanese enemy in a tree, and these guys from North Dakota in the 164th, they were from the Flat Plains, and so they didn't see that. And what the Fijians did, they said, now shoot at a spot right over there. just shoot there, and you shot, and a Jap would fall out of the tree. So it was a great experience to see original activity, and that's in that same area before Iwo Jima. It wasn't right next door, but then all of a sudden all your friends, older friends, are going into the military, and most of them were farm boys, of course, from where I was born and raised. And I was pretty young, but I do remember when Roosevelt came on, I was in the kitchen with my mother.
The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
The tomb of the unknown soldier serves as a symbolic grave for all war dead whose remains have not been found or identified. The tomb began with one unknown service member from World War I, and today is the grave of 3 unidentified service members. Its meaning has evolved to represent the memory of all military members through American history. The tomb's inscription reads, "Here rests in honored glory an American soldier, known but to God."
Ready? Face. Freeze it. On. Port. Off. Ready. Face. Pass. On your order.
Votes and orders. Remain as directed.
Order. Acknowledge. Ready. Face. Freeze it. Off. Right. Shoulder. Arm. Halt. Right. Face. Forward. March. Guard. Halt. Fall out.
I've been to school here, I've been to college here, and the very sad part it is, I mean, you know, up until 2007, I didn't know anything about, you know, I didn't even know any meanings of you know, all gave some and some gave all, and we all can be heroes, because none of my teachers ever told me, hey look, or even on a Veterans Day, they never say, hey look, go shake a hand of a veteran or, you know, thank him. And they never told us anything about how especially the Vietnam veterans and Korean veterans were treated. Yeah. They all told us like it's like a storybook. They never actually mentioned it like it actually happened to real people, and they're still around you. You know, so I actually wanted to thank Honor Flight to let somebody like me, who came from a third world country, and give me, you know, this opportunity not only to work with the veterans, to actually get to know how precious the freedom is anywhere in the world, not only for this country, but anywhere. So I just want to thank the veterans who actually made that happen.
479 names on that wall. 1/3 of those guys never got a chance to finish high school, only because they were drafted, taken away from home, church, and family, and placed in the United States military. And their names on that wall, because of their sacrifice, we enjoy our freedoms today. If you've ever seen the movie We Were Soldier, which pictured Mel Gibson as the major, this wall, these men, they participated in that particular campaign. 8 women are represented on this wall as a tribute. The last lady is Mary T. Clinker. That's her name down here. And those 8 trees are up there. That represents those females that are on this wall. The only female memorial is that one right there. That's the military memorial. Remember, the Revolutionary War, so just from the beginning of time, women have been the backbone of our support, and that's a tribute to them. That memorial up there, that's Frederick Hart's creation. This right here, Maya Lin Chin. She was in a lottery, and she won that lottery. Welcome home, big brother, and thank you for your service. Maya Lin Chin, it's ironic that she just happens to be Asian. There was an Asian war. This big brother, that's a Korean War veteran, twice my age. Hoorah! When I joined the military at 17 years old in 1974, I did not have a high school diploma, but thank God for the United States Marine Corps. It taught me how to put my head and butt wired in the same direction. That's the nice way to put it. The United States Marine Corps, there are other ways to put that. I want you kids to actually obey the rules, pay attention to your parents, and finish the job. In other words, complete high school. Don't stay in high school, complete high school. Remember, 58,479, 1/3 didn't even get a chance. My tour of duty, 74, 78. My mother possessed, so I was 0331. I'm a machine gun. I went to Paris Island, 321. That is my platoon. Senior drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Spondu. From there, I went straight to Okinawa Camp Schwab, 3rd Division. From there, I was deployed. As a matter of fact, I went to Mount Fuji. Then I was deployed. And then, let's see, I found myself aboard a ship guarding Vietnamese refugees. Actually, I didn't even know where I was until at the end, when they told us what we're going to actually be doing. So, thank you for your service.
Mail call in the Army was just special. Just wanted a letter from somebody.
Yep.
Dear Dad, thank you for always being there for me. You will always be the first man I ever loved. First hand held, and my one and only daddy. You are amazing, and I am so lucky to have you as my father. I love you. Your little girl, Marla.
I am always grateful to you, and that I'm able to call you Dad. Thank you for your service. God bless you, and God bless America.
Let's see what we got here. Probably from my wife once she would come home. Luther Bjerke grew up and lived in an era of patriotism, was honored and respected. It was a time when men loved their country and were proud to serve in armed forces. To be recognized as a veteran was looked upon as a duty of great responsibility and of considerable respect. Many of the men of this generation served in the armed forces, but for whatever reasons, they barely spoke of their experiences. I am so pleased and proud to be surrounded by such patriotic and honorable men like my father. Selfless service to our country. Congratulations on being honored as a veteran honor flight selectee with my daughter in California.
Luther Bjerke on the left and George Grindberg on the right have not seen each other since they went down to basic training together over 75 years ago.
How's it been since you guys last saw each other?
75 years, I suppose.
Well, really?
I haven't seen it since we were in the Army. We were on latrine duty.
Latrine duty.
Well, you know, the basic training, you all get duties, and And sometimes if you screw up a little, you would get double latrine duty. And we were together, so that's our start of success, cleaning the latrines.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Well, remember
and
that.
KP was the next step.
So where were you guys at then at that time?
We went to Fort Riley, Kansas. You know, when I through Fargo, and that's where we took our basic training at Camp Funston, but it was called really Fort Riley. Yeah.
That's right.
And I haven't seen him since that time.
That was January 26th of 1954.
You remember the exact day?
Oh, look at it. Oh, Luther. Jeez.
Pleasure.
Wow.
We drove down to 4 of us guys. I know every one of them by name. To Camp Gordon for
it's Fort Gordon now, but it was Camp Gordon at that time.
Yeah, Camp Gordon then for radio school. That's where I went for high speed.
Did you take the code?
Oh yes, 1766.
Remember when the code, when you first heard it, it was
yeah.
And then we finally had to take it for 5 minutes, 5 times, and I ended up with 22. And it was a blur when I first heard that.
I didn't know what I was doing.
I don't think anybody, we never knew what we were doing. And I ended up being a team chief and a barrack sergeant, assistant platoon sergeant in the Army. And I didn't deserve any of that. I know I didn't. But we went all over the country, and we were the enemy of the United States. It was electronic warfare, and I was getting those guys, I remember I had a colonel in a tank, and he was so damn mad he started swearing at whoever it was. Every time he'd start to communicate with his men.
Yeah.
So that was my job, really. Did you do something like that after school?
Well,
Camp Gordon.
Never saw it. I never did that one time. Not once. I went into armored artillery, and
you go from Camp Gordon, School of Communications.
In Fort Sill. I went to Fort Sill.
Fort Sill?
Yeah, artillery. 105 howitzer on one of those beat up, worn out tanks,
The National Archives building is the headquarters of the United States National Archives and Records Administration. The National Archives building holds original copies of the 3 main formative documents of the United States and its government: the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. These are displayed to the public in the main chamber of the National Archives, which is called the Rotunda for the Charters of Freedom. The building hosts additional important American historical items, including the Articles of the Confederation, the Louisiana Purchase Treaty, and the Emancipation Proclamation, and collections of photography and other historically and culturally significant American artifacts. An original version of the 1297 Magna Carta, confirmed by Edward I, is an internationally historical document also on display.
Sjulson. I was 100 last September 21st. December 7th, 1941, a group of us fellows were in an apartment in San Diego, and we were getting ready to go to church when we heard on the radio, since we did not have TV at then. we heard on the radio that the Japanese had bombed Pearl Harbor. That came as quite a shock. Up till that point, it seemed that in the United States, a lot of people were rather reserved about getting into what they considered a European war. But after Pearl Harbor, I think that was 100% backing for the United States getting into war.
And like you said, that Japanese emperor said it was, you know, it was a mistake to do that.
Oh yes, when a Japanese admiral made the statement that I am afraid that we have awakened a sleeping giant. And I think he hit the nail right on the head when they started tapping all the available workforce in the United States that they had, and all the women that went into the workforce. Boy, it was terrific.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think I was working at Consolidated Volti.
Yeah.
Factory where they made B-24 bombers, long-distance bombers.
Were you making those for the United States? It wasn't going towards the war yet, right? Well, did you find a lucky lady in your life too after sometime?
Oh, I should say I did. I found one that I lived with for 71 years from western Nebraska.
And kids and grandkids, I would imagine, right?
Well, yes. I feel that we don't know much about the person we married, but after we marry them, when we lucked out, boy, life is like this.
Singing something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties. The fruited plain. Well, now wait a minute. I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed His grace on thee. He crowned thy good. Yes, He did. Fargo.